Hey everybody, welcome back. I'm Jonathan. This is Duke Does Amazon, my Amazon selling channel. So I gotta be honest with you. I just did a video, so I just changed my shirt so that I'm not wearing the same same shirt in a new video since I only have so many and I'm at the early stages of this. So speaking of, repping UCF where I went to college, especially as somebody that works for themselves and has for like the last 7 years, I didn't learn anything in high school. I didn't learn anything in college other than social skills and managing money and time. To each their own. But that's a conversation for another day. I will say in both high school and college, the most practical course I ever took was public speaking. And it's kind of ironic because here I am making YouTube videos. So shout out to those teachers. Also, this shirt reminds me I need to work on my South Florida tan here. But anyway, hopping into it. Today is a really fundamental video. It talks about fulfillment. And so when you sell on Amazon, there's only two ways to fulfill an order. And so I'm gonna first give you an overview of what fulfillment is, and then I'm gonna hop into the two options, the pros and cons, and kind of why I like one over the other, especially on a macro scale for scalability and to really grow this business. So first things first, we have to understand what fulfillment is. Really, it just means how do we get the product that we have to the end user, okay? And so that's really it, start to finish, selling it to them, dealing with customer service, fulfilling the order. Two options. You have FBA, which is known as Fulfillment by Amazon. This is what I do 99% of the time. And then we have FBM, Fulfillment by Merchant. Another easy way to remember that is Fulfillment by Me. These are the only two fulfillment options when you sell on Amazon, okay? So anyway, let's hop into them. We're gonna start with FBA, a little overview, and then the pros and cons, and then we'll do the same with FBM. So an overview of FBA, Fulfillment by Amazon. If in your mind you're thinking of eBay, where you list something on the site, and then when a customer orders it, you get notified and you send them the order one by one to all your customers and sales. This is absolutely not that, okay? What FBA is you take your products, you do what you have to process them, and then you ship everything to Amazon. So it's like set it and forget it. Amazon receives those items and checks them in. They store them, they pick them, they box them, they pack them, they ship them, and they deal with customer service after the sale. So start to finish, Amazon is handling everything. Now, Amazon is going to take a fee for this, which is totally fine by me, and they take a healthy fee. They've created this platform, they've created the infrastructure, they're paying for labor and insurance and buildings to the nth degree, right? So whatever they want to take from me doesn't matter because there's so much opportunity that it's well worth it. Now, keep in mind too, they also win because I'm paying for the inventory. They're selling the inventory and getting a cut for it. So they're saving a ton of money by not having to buy the inventory and carry that risk themselves. And so I win because I have this platform built in where I get to make a lot of money based on their sellers. It's a very mutually beneficial relationship and there's enough meat on the bone for everyone, okay? So now that you kind of have a snapshot of what FBA is, let's hop into the pros and cons. And again, I overwhelmingly use FBA compared to FBM, but there are instances for both. So FBA pros. When you list something as FBA, your product gets listed with the Prime badge. Now that's really important because a lot of people are only shopping for Prime products. So one, it shows that it's another level of trust, but it also increases your pool size of buyers because so many people won't even consider it if it's not a Prime product. So you have that working in your favor, or if you have a customer where time is of the essence, your product's already at Amazon's warehouse and then they just ship it out and get it there within 2 days. So that's a huge advantage. I touched upon this for a second, but credibility. I don't know if you're aware of this, but if you were to buy something on Amazon right now, or if you pulled up a product on the screen, you would see to the right of the screen, fulfilled by Amazon, sold by Jonathan123, if it were a FBA item, okay? So as a buyer, I see fulfilled by Amazon, that puts me at ease. I see that it's a Prime product, and I see Jonathan 123. I might not even catch that, I might not even understand it, but there'll also be a star rating for that buyer as well. So all of these things make the customer more willing and ready to buy because of the credibility factor. Okay, so that's huge. Next, I mentioned this, unlike eBay or FBM, you're not storing these products at your house. I live in a very, very small space. I get product in, I process it, it's out the next day. Okay, I'm not shipping these off one by one by one. You don't need a warehouse. You don't need this elaborate system. You don't need to take up room in your living environment. Everything is going to Amazon, no storing products at home. I mentioned Amazon handles this, but next is no customer service. No people complaining or being rude or trying to pull a fast one on you. With Amazon's fee that they take, they handle the customer service. And so that's really nice. Again, it's like set it and forget it. So that's a really, really nice advantage of that too. I mentioned that there's more buyers because as a Prime user, again, a lot of people filter it to only shop Prime products. And so that means more eyes on you and gives you a competitive advantage. Something else I didn't mention, lastly, is that when you sell something as FBA, you can typically command a higher price point because people are paying for all those things that I've already mentioned. So you get to offset some of those expenses because you get to charge a premium, okay? You'll always see, if you notice on Amazon, if you were to notice it now, fulfillment by Amazon, Prime products are always gonna be more expensive than like Joe Schmo selling it from their home address, okay? Again, the credibility, the Prime, all of those things add value. Now, those are all the reasons I love FBA, and I really think that's the way to scale your business. Again, you just ship off hundreds and hundreds at a time, and then you get to kind of forget about them, all right? The cons are limited, but here they are. One is time, and what I mean by that is I have to buy the product, I have to process it and then ship it to Amazon. It could take them a couple of days to check those in and go live. It could take them a couple weeks or even longer. Or they may check in some of them and ship off other items to a whole nother warehouse on the other side of the country because they have algorithms and they want to put items in the best position possible to travel the least amount of distance and get to the customer the quickest. But that could be at your expense of time. And sometimes time is of the essence, especially for maximizing profitability. So that's one downside. Another is that you are dealing with a lot more transit, you are dealing with humans. There are gonna be products of yours that become lost and or damaged. Now, you can get reimbursed for those, but it just creates something else to your to-do list, and you have to be cognizant of those and aware of those in order to even request those to begin with. And then there's a couple of steps you have to do. So there are softwares available that you pay them a percentage of the recouped fees, which is what I use, and most Amazon sellers that do this seriously use, but that's a conversation for another day, okay? And then lastly, I mentioned this, Amazon takes a really nice fee. Basically 25%, 30% is like a rule of thumb. Again, I'm from the mentality, there's so much opportunity here, I don't care what their fee is, I would pay anything essentially because they've created this incredible, incredible system and infrastructure, and I'm just riding the coattails into a very, very nice, profitable business. All right? So those are the pros and cons with FBA. I use that 99% of the time, as I mentioned. And so now let's hop into FBM, the only other option. FBM as an overview is gonna be more like that eBay model. You are storing these products at your house, you are sending them to the end customers one by one by one, and you are responsible for customer service, okay? So why would I use FBA instead of FBM? So let's hop into the pros and cons of FBM to help paint that picture. So let's start with the cons. Less credibility. The same way I said there's more credibility with FBA. If you were to buy something on Amazon from Jonathan123, shipping out of Jonathan123's address, there's no Prime badge, it's not fulfilled by Amazon, you're gonna be a little bit more suspicious, okay? It doesn't mean you're not gonna buy it by any means, and especially if I have good reviews, but if there's an equally priced or a slightly higher priced equivalent item and I get Prime with it and I get Amazon's credibility, I'm probably going with that as a buyer, all right? Another thing is your pool size of buyers is gonna be less, which makes sense because I said with FBA, your pool size is gonna be larger. The reason for this is because so many people have become spoiled and love Prime that they filter out their search to only be Prime products. When you sell as FBM, as an everyday seller, there are some exceptions to the rule. You don't get to sell your products and let them be listed as Prime. Okay, so that's a major difference as well. Let's talk about the pros a little bit, okay? Now these pros, for me, they're all great, but there's very few instances that they apply, okay? So for one, the pro is that it's instant, meaning that I can literally go to a store and once I take possession of that item, I can list it for sale on Amazon site as FBM, and who knows, I may sell it before I get home, and then I can ship it straight from my house, never having to send it into Amazon, not waiting on the time, you know, so that instant nature, as opposed to FBA, you're waiting on them to receive it, check it in, they might move it around, it's instant, okay? However, the only real time is that that I use FBM is really when there's a very unique situation. Let's say there's an item that is in high demand and there's no other sellers. Like literally this week I found something, I just keep trying to find it everywhere. It sells like hotcakes. I am the only seller on Amazon that has it. So rather than me buying it, processing it, sending it to Amazon and waiting on that, I have no competition. If they want to buy it on Amazon, they have to buy it from me. So I just sell it FBM and I sell it instantly, and I'm selling like 10 a day. To send it into Amazon would just take more time, and because there's no other competition, it really doesn't make sense. There's no advantage of me doing that. If they want it, they gotta get it from me, okay? So that's one example. Another would be like a toy during the holiday season. Let's say there are other sellers, unlike the example I just gave, but everyone only has maybe a couple pieces of inventory and it's such a hot mover, they're gonna sell out, then they're gonna sell out, then I'm gonna sell out, and it's just rotating all over the place, but it's so fast. I mean, hundreds of items a day potentially that you know you're gonna get your turn, and it doesn't pay to wait on the lag time, or maybe it's a week before Christmas. You don't have time because it might not get to Amazon in time. So that's the only option, is for them to buy it from you. Now those are just two examples. There's a lot of other ones, but basically to me, I only use FBM for extreme examples like that. I will say there's no harm in listing an item FBM as soon as you buy it from a store, no matter the situation, and then keeping it FBM until you're ready to send it in as FBA. Because if it sells up to that point, you don't even have to send it into FBA. And if it doesn't sell, you just simply remove it from your inventory of FBM, and then you send it in FBA, and all is good. So that's a technique I use too, because there's absolutely nothing to lose by doing that, right? And so with all of that said, I hope it paints the picture. FBA is really scalable. You send in thousands and thousands of products, you're not storing them. Yes, you pay an Amazon fee, but it's so well worth it. You get the Prime, you get the customer service included, you get to be charge a higher price. So there's so many things about that I like. As far as FBM, for certain instances, it makes a lot of sense. If you're the only seller, if it's a incredibly fast moving item, time is of the essence. For those instances, it works. But generally speaking, I always suggest FBA for all of those reasons above. If you're an Amazon seller, there's gonna be times you're gonna do both. And so you're gonna have to get familiar with it one way or the other, but FBA is really the move that I suggest, all right? I do wanna mention, I didn't mention this, most FBA items, fulfillment by merchant items, when I sell them, I do free shipping because people just, statistically speaking, like free shipping. So I'm gonna pay a couple bucks in shipping, $3, $5, $7. However, Amazon, when I sell FBM, doesn't really take much of a fee, a very marginal fee compared to FBA. So when you look at the fee component, I see it as a wash. If I sell it FBA, they're gonna take their 30% or whatever it is, and if I sell it FBM and I offer free shipping, I'm gonna pay $5, $6, $7 in shipping anyway. So it's kind of a wash is the way that I think about it. Okay, I just wanted to touch upon that. So anyway, again, there's only two fulfillment methods. If you sell on Amazon, FBA, FBM, I'm all in on FBA, but there are certain outliers and exceptions like anything in life where FBM makes sense and you want to get familiar with both. But if you hear those terms or you weren't familiar with them, I hope that helps paint the picture. Once again, I'm Jonathan. If you have any questions about this or anything else in general, put it below. I'd be happy to answer them. Other than that, have a great day, guys. Again, this is Duke Does Amazon. I'll leave some more information in the description below. Take care.